Welcome, rising ninth graders. My name is Mr. Terry, and I am the K-12 Social Studies Supervisor here at Berners Township School District. And I am joined by Mr. McTiernan, who is one of the ninth grade global history teachers, as well as Mr. Coates, who is another ninth grade global history teacher. And we are here to welcome you to Academic Planning Night to give you a little bit of a sneak preview about social studies and our program and the courses that are going to be available to you during your time here at Ridge High School, particularly as you think about the course that you're going to take during your ninth grade year, your first year at Ridge. So just to kind of share a little bit about what we mean by social studies. Social studies does include history courses, but it also is really about how do we prepare you to be knowledgeable, thoughtful, and active citizens who are ready to participate not only in a global workforce, but also in an increasingly diverse, interdependent world and a democratic society. So that includes not just knowledge about how the world works, but also some critical thinking skills that you're going to need to help you kind of apply your thinking and understanding to the world around you as not only young people, but as adults. And also think about what are the values and principles that drive us as individuals and the institutions that we use to kind of organize our world today. And also thinking about how the world is an incredibly complex and complicated and diverse place, right? Full of a lot of, different peoples, and a lot of different perspectives. So we want to expose you to all those different perspectives during your time here at Ridge. So just to kind of give you a little bit of an overview as to, where you're headed in your pursuit of social studies here at Ridge. So right now, you're taking a 8th grade global history course called Global History 1. And depending on how you do in this course, that's going to potentially open some doors for you next year, right? So if you have an A- or above by the time you finish your 8th grade global history course, this will allow you to take the Global History 2 honors course next year, potentially with Mr. McTiernan or Mr. Coates. And also you're going to get some other feedback this year from your teacher as well, your 8th grade teacher, to get you to think a little bit about, is the honors course right for me? One thing that you do want to be aware of is if you decide to take this 9th grade honors course, you are going to be able to, if you like, take the 10th grade AP US History course. However, if you take the CP Global History course in your 9th grade year, you will not be able to take that particular AP course, that US History course, but you'll be able to take other AP courses later if you like, and if you do really well in your social studies classes. So just to kind of give you a little bit of a layout here, right? 9th grade, you're required to take global history. 10th grade, predominantly most 10th graders take US history. And in 11th grade, here at Ridge, we have a unique experience in a course called the History of US Government and Economics. So that's pretty much what most 11th graders take here. And that AP course can potentially be open to you if you do well in your other social studies courses that you take in 9th and 10th grade. And just another item that I'm going to make you aware of is how rich our program is when it comes to our elective offerings. And if you take a look at our semester electives that we have up on the top, we have a variety of electives. And there are a couple new ones that I want to bring your attention to. One of them is called Human Rights, and the other one is the History of the Middle East. And then if you take a look at the full year electives on the bottom, we have a number of other AP social studies courses, but we also have a new Introduction to Psychology, which you can take and also potentially receive some credit, some college credit for through the Raritan Valley Community College. So that's another really cool offering that we have available to you. So just, some things on the horizon for you to consider as you pursue your study of social studies here at Ridge High School. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. McTiernan and Mr. Coates to dive in a little more closely in talking about, what the Global History 2 course looks like in your ninth grade year, and also, some tools that will help you think about, which course is going to be right for me. So you can take it away, Mr. McTiernan.
All right, thank you, Mr. Terry. So Global History 2, what are we going to be looking at next year? And what we're going to really focus on is really eventually how the world ended up the way the world is. And so these bring up some questions about, as you wake up, do you ever wonder why you even go to school? Like, how did that happen? Other things, I get to speak my mind, talk, say what I want. Where does free speech come from? Did people always have it? How did we get it? And then those questions that sometimes keep you up at night, that really make you wonder, like, where does pizza come from? All those questions and more will be answered in Global History 2 next year. So you got a lot to look forward to. Global History 2 is going to be an extension of what you're taking this year in history. We're going to look at the world from about 1200 CE onward. We'll start with a bit of a review on where you're going to be leaving off in 8th grade, and then plunge right in to the Renaissance, then go from there on every age up to and including the modern age we'll cover. We will learn a few names, we're going to learn a few places, but importantly, we're going to learn a lot about skills. And a lot of that, as Mr. Terry alluded to, is going to really help you look at the world, analyze information, analyze data, and super importantly, be able to communicate your conclusions on why the world works the way it is. We all know that the world's not a perfect place. You can't change it unless you can understand it and unless you can tell people what you want to do. And all these skills are going to be things that we're going to focus on. Really, really importantly, our 9th grade social studies teachers really do understand how to work with incoming freshmen. We guarantee you're going to have a fantastic experience as you transition to the high school as part of social studies. So part of what you're going to have to decide, if you have, as Mr. Terry mentioned, this A- or better, is whether or not you want to take honors or CP. There's a lot that's going to go into that decision. But basically, if you do have that choice, a real fundamental question you should be asking is, where would you thrive as a learner? It's not just, could I do it? If you have the grades, maybe you can, it's great, but is it going to be right for you? You want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to give yourself the best opportunity to succeed. And you don't want to be a place where you're just going to survive, but really get into a course where you're going to grow and reach your best potential that you're possibly going to be able to do. So that's where you should start when you're thinking about that decision. Your teacher's going to make a recommendation, but again, it's just a recommendation. They're not binding. At the end of the day, it's your decision. You get to decide. That's pretty cool.
To build off with what Mr. McTiernan was saying, right? You got to figure out where you're going to thrive. Well, start with this question. Do I actually like history? I mean, is this something that you study and or talk about or read about or discuss with your parents or friends, right? I mean, are you constantly trying to figure out what is going on outside of Basking Ridge? Do you want to know what's going on in New Jersey or America or the world as a whole, right? If you like studying history, then that might be a good indication that yes, honors global history might be the right course for you. If you're going, well, I'm really more of a STEM kid, right? Or I'm more focused on, something else, right? All of that is totally fair and valid, right? Not every subject is going to be for everybody. But if you love history, right, then yes, maybe you might think about going ahead and taking that honors global history course. Then think about your academic skills. Are you an independent thinker? Are you an independent worker? Are you somebody who enjoys reading and writing, right? Are these skills that you feel that you are ready to take to the next level? Because in Honors Global, we will bring you, we will work with you to bring those skills to the next level, right? But if you feel like, wow, I really still need to work on those skills a lot, then that might tell you about where you should be for next year. Finally, something else you might want to consider. What is next year going to look like for you? Right? We obviously can't predict the future to every single detail, but think about what other classes you're signing up for. Are you going to be taking a full honors course load? Right? Are you going to be able to make that work in your schedule? Are you a fall athlete, or are you going to have sports going throughout the year? Are you planning on trying out for the musical? Or do you play an instrument? Do you do forensics? Are you going to join one of the over 100 clubs that Ridge High School has on offer? That we have so much extracurriculars going on at the high school that we are super excited for you to check out, right? But you've got to be able to find a balance between what's going on with your academics and what's going on with your extracurriculars. So please do try to keep all of that in mind while trying to make your decision for next year. All right, just an overview on the differences between these courses that'll help you to make your decision, right? On the left, we have CP Global History 2, and on the right, we have Honors Global History. Just take a moment, pause the video, and look through these two lists, to help brainstorm some ideas about where you might want to end up next year.
Similarly, when you're making your decision, as Mr. Coates said, that there is a different expectation around work. In particular, not just what you do in the classroom, but also homework. So again, take a moment to pause the video, look at the different expectations that you'll have around workloads for homework, and that, again, will help you make that decision.
And we have here the assignment expectations. What we mean here is like projects, right? Honors Global History is more long, large projects. CP is more small projects. We've got a little bit more information, including some examples. Take a moment, look these over, give you a sense of what you can expect.
Okay, and thank you so much for joining us today. This about wraps up our presentation. And if you have questions, that's completely fine. Entering high school is certainly, it could feel pretty daunting. So we just want you to know that you have teachers and other staff members in the building that are certainly here to help you out. Mr. Coates and Mr. McTiernan are certainly a couple of them. And you can reach out to them with their email addresses provided here. If you'd like to reach out to me directly, my email is provided as well. And we're also going to be having a Q&A session, totally optional. If you'd like to join, you're certainly welcome to. It's going to be on Zoom on January 26th from 2 to 3 p.m. So you're welcome to jump on and join us there. And you're going to see a link provided in the slide deck that we're going to share with you on the district website. So thanks so much for joining again, and we're looking forward to seeing you the next school year. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.